All right, so let's get back into it. I left off last episode talking about shame and said guilt was the next thing that I wanted to cover. And so what I said last time was something along the lines of like, I feel shame when I am unable to do something, and then I feel guilt when I feel like I have the capability to do something, but I still don't. And as I said, I feel like these feelings are things that I feel in a way kind of keep me trapped or hold me back in some way. And there's still things that I'm trying to figure out how to escape, I guess. Because when I feel guilty, a lot of times the feeling that comes up is like I feel like I need to change. And so to some extent, I think that's also making me feel like I can't, or it's not okay for me to be who I am. That there's something that I need to change about myself in order to get to a place, to get away from that feeling of guilt. And yeah, so I feel like those feelings of guilt and shame make me feel like I can't be myself. And that's the problem with those feelings. Is that I guess it keeps me in this circular thinking where the things that I would need to tackle in order to maybe stop feeling that shame and guilt, they feel like pretty big obstacles to overcome. And that's why often I don't really, and I guess I haven't been able to overcome them, is because they seem like big hurdles. And so it gets circular because I don't overcome them, and I feel shitty about myself for not being able to overcome those things that make me feel guilty. And the biggest one I would say that comes up often is in the way that I interact with my family. So I'm not super close with my family. I have my reasons for it. And growing up, everyone always said like family is the most important thing. You gotta make up with your family. Like, forget about forget about the past. You're gonna regret like not having that relationship with them. And as a generality, I guess there's some truth to it, but I really hate when people tell me that, because they may not have necessarily lived, or they have definitely not lived and experienced the life that I experienced. They may have similar experiences, but I don't really know, because I feel like I haven't really talked extensively with people and what their family relations are. So I actually don't know. I mean, there's some people who love their family, and so they're always telling me about their family. But I think for the most part, I feel like a lot of the people I know, at least the guys I know, I feel like it's not talking about their family all that much. And yeah, so I really hate when people kind of tell me that I need to have a better relationship with my family, and it's going to be good for me, because they don't know the people I'm dealing with. And that's the main thing that is difficult. Outside of that blood obligation, I guess, it's really difficult to see my family as people that I get along with. Just as individuals, like taking the family aspect out of it, a lot of times I just don't see them as people that I can get along with. And I've tried, man. Like, I've tried fucking just sucking it up and going to family functions, but every time I don't have a good time. I become pretty sour, and I feel like I just fuck up the vibe, and I'm just feels pointless for me to be there, but my mom's dream is to see us all happy and reunited, and I don't think it's gonna happen. I am not gonna be an active participant in making that happen, and I just don't see the path where my sister, my brother, my mom really become people that I trust and like want to confide in. Because that's what it comes down to, I guess, at the end of the day, is like, do I trust these people to share my life with? And it's not always necessarily no, but it's not yes either. And at this point, it's like years of shit that I'd have to get past in order for that to be a possibility. And it's tough. It's tough to try to tackle all those feelings, all those experiences that brought me to the point where I don't want to be close to them. And yeah, the feeling that I get often is like, I'm not there to help take care of my mom. And even my sister, I guess, to some extent. So, I mean, my mom right now, she's still living where the neighborhood I grew up in. She's not working, so me and my brother pay her rent and help out a little bit more than that. And then my sister lives with her, so they share their rent. But yeah, it's still in a low income neighborhood. So I mean, I would say my mom's still living in a difficult state of affair, where I'm out here living my life, and the crazy thing for me, I guess, getting out of where I grew up was feeling or seeing the steps of getting out of my neighborhood, I guess, escaping it too. Because, like, I mean, growing up, the first house we lived in, the rent ranged from like $400 at the beginning until we left, which was like, that was probably 14 years leaving us there. The rent got up to like $550. And then the next place we moved into, I think like rent was $1,000. And then, when in college, that was my rent for one room. And things, I've been able to afford more and more things as I've gotten older, as I have kept working at my career. And so I feel a lot of guilt there to know that I am living a pretty luxurious life, I would say. I can afford my own apartment here in the Bay Area. I can afford to hobby with cars, and I don't have to worry anymore about much financially. I mean, there still is financial stress, but it's not life or death anymore. And I feel really guilty because I feel like it still is for my mom. I feel like there's this expectation to be the savior. I would say I'm probably I want to say the smartest, but I also I don't want to say that. And then I even also want to say the most successful, but it's also hard to make that comparison to my siblings, because it sounds like I'm putting them down, which I'm not trying to do. But also, I mean, I guess I just feel like I got a lot figured out. I think I make more than my brother now. Well, yeah, I definitely make more than anyone in my family. And yeah, it feels like I should be able to afford to take care of my mom, but I can. The truth is, I can if I don't save. And that's a very, the saving aspect is, I think, a big reason of like why when I was growing up, like why we couldn't kind of get ahead, is because my mom didn't know how to save. And I don't know how things, if things would have been different, if it was even really possible to save when we were that young. I mean, because, single mom, taking care of 4 kids, making minimum wage. So I don't know if it was possible to save, but I guess the way that my mom probably afforded things for us was going into credit card debt, which isn't great either. And then I don't think we helped the situation all that much. I mean, I had a summer internship my junior and senior year of high school, so I kind of had some money for myself, and so at least in that respect, I wasn't like taking away from my mom's income, but I wasn't contributing to the household income too, and I think that's something that often also makes me feel incapable, because there were other kids in my high school where they were working and they were contributing to the household, and for me not to have done that feels pretty spoiled. And I guess I justify it as it having to be a trade-off, because if I was working, then I probably wouldn't have the time to focus on school, and then I wouldn't have gotten all the good grades and all that other stuff that leads me to where I am today. But I guess I feel like I could have stepped in sooner to make my mom's life easier, and I still feel like I'm not doing enough, and that kind of tears me up sometimes, because I see that my mom has suffered. I see that she's sacrificed a lot. I see a lot in like her maintaining us. She was not able to have the family that she wanted, because she just wasn't around, and so there was with everything that was going on and where we were, I think it was very difficult to keep us together, and so she honestly missed out on watching us grow up, I want to say. I think she also missed out on being able to make a connection with us, because she wasn't around to help us with our problems, to give us advice. And at least for me, I know I don't look to my mom to help me with things, because she was not there when I was young to help me through much, and that's one reason why I'm not very close with her. I don't think there were enough situations to build the trust, and so she lost out on all that, and so I think the sacrifice that I would have to make in order to make her life easier wouldn't be much. It wouldn't be anywhere near what she had to do, because what all it is what, money, and then some of my time. That's not much to ask for, but I can't do it, and yeah, that should fucking choose me up. And yeah, like I said, I could probably afford to make my mom's life to ease some of that financial stress, but then it would require me to not be saving as much, and that's hard to do, because then I feel the pressure of having to have everything figured out, having to eventually have enough money to buy a house, because she's getting older, the health is gonna keep getting worse, and I mean that's a hard thing to think about too. Is like what do I do if it gets to the point where her health insurance isn't gonna cover the treatments if she needs? I mean, hopefully not. Also too, I hope my mom goes very quickly. I would hate to see something long and dragged out, but as much as I know she'd probably want to stick around, it's like I like if you're not in a good way, like why do you want to live not in a good way? All right, let's skip over that. But yeah, so like if her health ever got too bad where Medi-Cal isn't covering her treatments, that would mean we'd have to dip into our savings, and then medical shit's expensive. So I could just imagine that would completely wipe out whatever savings I have, and then at that point, that's be years to catch back up to where I am. And it's like obviously someone's life, my mom's life shouldn't have a price tag on it, but then I gotta think logically of then if I'm at the point where I'm struggling financially, then like we're just back at step one. And so kind of what's been the point of everything. So it's a hard thing to feel responsible for something that I did not make the decision to be responsible for, because I wasn't the one who had the family. I wasn't the one who was like, yeah, that I'm gonna take care of my mom, my sister, and all that. But it's still expected, or maybe I just feel that expectation. I don't know entirely. I was watching a movie a couple weeks ago that kind of had me thinking about this, and it was a movie on, I think it's on Amazon, with Steve Carell and Timothée Chalamet. It's a movie about a son who starts doing drugs and things like that, and so at the end, Steve and his wife go to Narcotics Anonymous, like the family version of it, so for the family members that have to deal with addicts. And I what was the quote? It was something like, "You're not the one creating the problem, so you don't have to feel responsible for it." And like I get the sentiment, but it's really difficult not to feel responsible for things that aren't really on me to make a real change about. That's one aspect of life that I haven't quite figured out, and that I think is not often I've not often really heard discussed, of like how to not feel guilty about things. And I guess maybe the discussion that I have heard about that is like, oh, it's a quality of being like a people pleaser. But I don't believe that. I think it has more to do about being someone that cares and is empathetic of other people's situations. Because I know I have a great life. I know I'm lucky. I know I'm blessed. And I guess sometimes it feels like I don't deserve it, but that also, because I do have it, I should be doing something to give that to other people. But I think it's a difficult thing to receive too. And, I've found it very difficult to receive someone's love, like someone's tremendous love, because I wasn't used to it, and when they were trying to give it to me, it felt like way too much. And they were trying to share something beautiful with me, and I didn't like how it made me feel. And so I can try to give it to people, but the thing is, I get emotionally exhausted really fast. So I don't have the stamina to be like a beacon of light for anyone, because yeah, that shit drowns out of me real quick. And I want to see people be happy. It's something that I think kind of breaks me to kind of think that it's something that some people don't experience often. Because I was there at some point too, where happiness wasn't something that I was continuously experiencing, and I see it a lot when people are kind of given attitude. Challenge that to some extent. So I was on the bus the other day, and there was this dude on the bus. It's pretty packed bus, shoulder to shoulder kind of thing. And there's this dude with a really big backpack, and as I get on, there's this older guy sitting down. He's trying to get out of the bus, and this guy's in front of him, and he kind of looks at him. It's like, "Hey, I'm getting off." And the guy with the backpack moves a little bit, but I was looking at him, and I was like, "You could keep moving more." And like, I don't know, can't you tell that this guy is struggling? Like, he's old. Like, give him some more space, right? I probably should have said something instead of just standing there, but whatever, maybe next time. And so then we keep riding on the bus. It's packed again, and then this lady like shoves him, because I guess with the motion of the bus, his backpack kept bumping into him, and then she bumps him and she says something, and then he's like, "Oh, you could just ask nicely." And then she's talking back to him a little bit, and then he starts going off with the, "Oh, you don't got to make a scene on the bus," like antagonizing her. I thought it was pretty unnecessary. Again, I'm not saying much, because I feel like in public, I'm not trying to make someone else's problems my problems. Cause you just don't know. You don't know with people. Like, people be wild in these days, and I don't. It could end up backfiring to try to be a good Samaritan, and yeah. So like they're drawing off at each other a little bit more, very very unnecessarily. But then at the end, the guy, as like a final jab to her, he's like, "Oh, sorry about your life," which I thought was pretty petty. But it goes back to this idea that I tend to have, and I guess is out there too, that like people that are in a bad attitude aren't doing great in life, or there's something in their life that's causing them frustration, and their bad attitude is a symptom of that. Because I don't know exactly how true that is. It's more of like an observational hypothesis for me. But yeah, I see that often. You have people kind of having a bad attitude, and I always equate it to like, oh, they're probably facing some difficulty in their life. And those would be the people that I would be wanting to help get to a place where they're happier and things like that. But could be a misjudgment on my part on how they actually feel about their life. All right, so I think that's good for today. We got a couple. I guess that's a good segue of what the other thing I've been thinking about to talk about. So next time, what I want to talk about is the difficulty I have seen talking about the positive things in life, and like sharing happiness, my own happiness, with other people. So yeah, that'll be for next time. Catch you then.